Welcome back, word enthusiasts. Let's continue with the fourth part of our vocabulary building journey. In this video, we'll learn fascinating words accompanied by captivating example sentences, empowering you to wield the power of language with confidence and finesse. Here is the first word. Sanctimonious. He always came across as sanctimonious, preaching about his own virtues. Her sanctimonious attitude annoyed her colleagues. The politician's sanctimonious statements were met with skepticism. The religious leader's sanctimonious behavior contradicted his teachings. The sanctimonious tone of her voice made it hard to take her seriously. Sanctimonious means making a show of being morally superior. Here is one more example. Mary's sanctimonious lecture on the proper way to eat a slice of pizza left everyone in stitches, especially since she was holding it upside down. Complicity. The evidence proved his complicity in the crime. She was charged with complicity in the fraud scheme. The investigation revealed the complicity of several high-ranking officials. The company's complicity in the environmental pollution was exposed. The witnesses' complicity with the suspect raised doubts about their testimony. Complicity means involvement in wrongdoing or illegal activities. Here is one more example. The mischievous duo shared a complicity that allowed them to execute elaborate pranks, leaving their friends bewildered and slightly amused. Impervious. The fortress walls were impervious to attack. He remained impervious to criticism, confident in his abilities. The material used for the jacket is impervious to water. She appeared impervious to the freezing temperatures. The CEO's decision seemed impervious to the concerns of the employees. Impervious means not allowing passage or entry, unaffected by. Here is one more example. The superhero's cape, made of a miraculous fabric, rendered him impervious to both fire and awkward small talk at parties. Coiffure. She wore an elegant coiffure for the wedding. The stylist created a beautiful coiffure for the fashion show. His coiffure was the latest trend among young men. The actress sported a unique coiffure at the awards ceremony. The salon specializes in various coiffure designs. Coiffure means a person's hairstyle. Here is one more example. Bob's attempt to recreate the latest celebrity coiffure ended in disaster, resulting in a hairstyle that resembled a nest of confused birds. Sophist. He was known as a sophist, manipulating words to win debates. The politician was accused of being a sophist, twisting facts to suit his agenda. The sophist used logical fallacies to deceive the audience. She saw through the sophist's persuasive tactics. The sophist's argument seemed convincing but lacked substance. Sophist means a person who reasons with clever but misleading arguments. Here is one more example. The master of empty arguments, Bob the sophist, managed to convince his friends that eating ice cream for breakfast was not only healthy but also a social obligation. Quip. She responded with a quick quip that left everyone laughing. His quips during the meeting lightened the mood. The comedian entertained the audience with his hilarious quips. The politician's quip became a memorable soundbite. The book is filled with humorous quips and anecdotes. Quip means a clever or witty remark or comment. Here is one more example. Sally's quick quip about Bob's cooking skills left him speechless, but he managed to retaliate with an even wittier comeback. Fancied. He had a fancied fear of spiders, even though he knew they were harmless. The child had a fancied friend who only existed in her imagination. She fancied herself a skilled painter, despite having no formal training. The rumors about the celebrity's fancied romantic relationship spread quickly. The detective had a fancied suspicion that proved to be true. Fancied means imagined or believed to be true or real. Here is one more example. Tim fancied himself an expert juggler until the day he tried juggling flaming bowling balls and set the circus tent on fire. Hypercritical. Her hypercritical nature made it difficult to please her. He received a hypercritical review of his performance. The teacher was known for being hypercritical of her students' work. The hypercritical boss never seemed satisfied with the employee's efforts. Despite her success, she faced hypercritical judgment from others. Hypercritical means excessively or unfairly critical. Here is one more example. Mary's hypercritical evaluation of the homemade cookies left poor Bob questioning his culinary skills and contemplating a career change to pizza delivery. Slugguard. He was labeled a slugguard for his lack of motivation. The slugguard spent the entire day on the couch, doing nothing. The sluggard's procrastination led to missed opportunities. The company struggled due to slugguard employees. Despite warnings, he remained a slugguard, neglecting his responsibilities. Slugguard means a lazy or idle person. Here is one more example. Jerry, the self-proclaimed slugguard, managed to break his personal record by spending an entire weekend binge-watching an entire TV series without getting up from the couch. Monumental. The discovery of a new species was a monumental achievement. The project required monumental effort and resources. The concert was a monumental success, attracting thousands of fans. The building stood as a monumental symbol of the city's history. The loss of a loved one is a monumental event in a person's life. Monumental means great in importance, scale, or significance. Here is one more example. The amount of effort Bob put into avoiding doing his laundry was monumental, with his dirty clothes reaching Everest-like heights. Wispy. The wispy clouds floated across the sky. She had wispy hair that framed her face beautifully. The artist created a painting with wispy brush strokes. The dress had wispy fabric that flowed in the breeze. The morning mist gave the landscape a wispy and ethereal feel. Wispy means thin, delicate, and airy in appearance or texture. Here is one more example. Tim's attempt at growing a majestic beard resulted in a wispy collection of stray hairs that resembled a tumbleweed caught in a hurricane. Deleterious. Smoking has deleterious effects on your health. The chemicals in the cleaning product had a deleterious impact on the environment. The company's decision had deleterious consequences for its employees. The deleterious rumors affected her reputation. The deleterious effects of pollution are evident in the ecosystem. Deleterious means harmful or damaging. Here is one more example. Sally's habit of feeding her pet goldfish potato chips had a deleterious effect, turning the fish into a remarkably round and lazy creature. Paradox. The phrase less is more is a paradox. The concept of time travel presents a paradox. It's a paradox that she feels both love and hatred for him. The paradox of life is that we must embrace change to find stability. The paradox of freedom is that it requires responsibility. Paradox means a seemingly contradictory statement or situation. Here is one more example. It was a paradox that the world's fastest tortoise managed to outrun all the other competitors in the slow-motion race. Onomatopoeia. Buzz, hiss, and crash are examples of onomatopoeia. The poet used onomatopoeia to create vivid imagery. The children enjoyed making sounds using onomatopoeia. The onomatopoeia in the story added an extra layer of sensory experience. The comic book artist used onomatopoeia to enhance the action scenes. Onomatopoeia means the formation of words that imitate sounds. Here is one more example. The comic book artist's use of onomatopoeia perfectly captured the sound of the superhero's mighty punch, kapow. Relevant. The evidence presented in court was highly relevant to the case. She asked a relevant question during the discussion. The article provided relevant information for the research project. The book offers relevant advice for entrepreneurs. The speaker delivered a relevant and engaging presentation. Relevant means closely connected or appropriate to the matter at hand. Here is one more example. Bob's knowledge of 16th century poetry turned out to be surprisingly relevant during the trivia night at the local pub. Subsidy. The government provides subsidies to farmers to support agricultural development. The company received a subsidy to promote renewable energy. The student received a subsidy to help with tuition fees. The film industry relies on subsidies to encourage local production. The government announced new subsidies for low-income families. Subsidy means a sum of money granted by the government or an organization. Here is one more example. Bob tried to convince his parents to give him a subsidy for buying video games, arguing that it would enhance his strategic thinking skills and hand-eye coordination. Variegated. The garden was filled with variegated flowers of all shapes and sizes. She wore a variegated scarf that added a pop of color to her outfit. The artist used variegated brush strokes to create a vibrant painting. The lizard had a variegated skin pattern for camouflage. The variegated leaves of the plant added visual interest to the room. Variegated means having different colors, patterns, or types. Here is one more example. The variegated colors of the unicorn's mane left everyone in awe, as it changed from rainbow hues to glittering stars with each flicker of its magical horn. Prune. He pruned the overgrown branches of the tree. She pruned the rosebush to encourage new growth. The hairstylist pruned her hair to create a fresh look. It's important to prune the hedges regularly for a neat appearance. The gardener pruned the bushes into intricate shapes. Prune means to trim or cut back. Here is one more example. Despite the warnings, Tim couldn't resist the temptation to prune the overgrown hedge into a shape resembling his favorite cartoon character, resulting in a neighborhood attraction. Connivance. The manager was accused of connivance in the embezzlement scheme. The connivance of the employees enabled the theft to occur unnoticed. The connivance between the rival companies was uncovered by investigators. He suspected connivance among his colleagues to undermine his work. The connivance of the security guard allowed the intruders to enter the building. Connivance means the act of secretly or knowingly allowing wrongdoing. Here is one more example. The connivance between the mischievous siblings led to an elaborate plan to switch the salt and sugar containers, resulting in some very interesting breakfast conversations. Ferment. The political situation was in a state of ferment, with protests and demonstrations. The grapes were left to ferment to produce wine. The idea began to ferment in his mind, leading to a breakthrough. The cultural festival created a ferment of artistic expression. The dough needs time to ferment before baking. Ferment means a state of agitation or excitement, to undergo fermentation. Here is one more example. Sally's attempt at making homemade kombucha ended in a disastrous ferment, transforming the innocent tea into a bubbling concoction that tasted suspiciously like alien slime. And there you have it. We hope you've enjoyed expanding your vocabulary with us today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up to stay connected and never miss our upcoming word-filled adventures.